Hello and welcome to Zambia Today. I'm Alice Lungubanda. We are in Roma and we are here interviewing Honorable James C. Mapoma. He is former Permanent Secretary, former Cabinet Minister, former Director General of ZIMCO, and former Economic Advisor to the first Republican President, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. Sir, you're welcome to the program.
Well, first of all, welcome to my home. Welcome to my humble home.
Thank you so much, sir.
And thank you for your interview. Honorable James Mapoma is the son of Daniel Mapoma. That's the name of my father, who was, one of the church leaders of the CMML, Christian Mission in many lands, in Fort Rosebery at that time, under the leadership of Mr. Sims. Sims is a missionary, who came from England. Because in those days, there's no leader in our days who didn't go to school through a missionary schools. The missionaries, the people who came from abroad to be able to, were trying to teach people how to read first so they can be able to read the Bible and to hear what they're thinking like that. And when you got to, let us say, standard 4 or standard 6, you are regarded as the most educated person in the world because they were the missionaries who were providing this basis of education. From the primary school, the mission school, the school that when I came to Munali in 1942, I came from the mission school in Mansa. But that was not called Mansa, it was Fort Rosebery. After Munali is when I went now to Makerere. Because there was no other, there was no education. That's why when we became independent, the first issue, the primary question, was education. At least first transport, communications, to all these headquarters, and then schools, that every village, every school must have a school, must for children and so on. And then they started building on this. So the foundation, when they came and said build schools, is the health schools and health, And even at our prefect, that's where everything started. Yes.
Tell us about it.
Yes, because even at prefect here, he was the head prefect. And we had people coming in from different castes and things like that. And we had what we call dormitories, as we call them. You have Moffat House, Mabin House. Even the names of them were colonial. Because the leaders as black people were not considered, And Kaunda said, no. He was the head of Mabin House. Thomas Mutine, whom some of you was part of it. And we were the first people to sit for Cambridge in this country, 8 of us, And I still have got the names of that, included Stephen, yes, Thomas Mutine, yeah, and a lot of, yes, and the man who became a doctor, Selozi man, a very clever guy, But we lived everywhere. She was from South Africa, born and bred and raised up. But what's even more, she was an only child of the people there. How did I meet her? I didn't meet her. I saw a picture of her by somebody, a Zambian. No secrets about my long life, because the secrets or what I'm going to be are in the hands of the Lord. I am 99 years not because I did this, I did that, or did this and that and so on, but God in His own love. My independence struggle was that, because when I came back from Mali, from Makerere, you know, the government, they didn't know where to, you know, they didn't find out where I was going to go and what I'm going to be, you know. So they didn't even know where to put me. They couldn't give me a house or a place because I looked as if I was far more educated than anybody else among Africans, or what I considered Africans or black people, you know. I never in my life or anything talked about black, about color. I talked only about being in the image, being created by the image of God. And then, you know, they couldn't put me in what we call woodlands because it was the Europeans. They couldn't be able to, in all these places. So they gave me 2 rendezvous. The rendezvous are the one you said, and searched 2 in near the church here. And he said, this is where you sleep, and this other one is where you... No pit latrines or anything like that. There were only baskets, big buckets in them, which were cleared in the morning before you left like that. It was terrible life, you know. But we went through that. Later on, they started, the government themselves, the Europeans, started getting embarrassed because the people were coming from Europe. They asked for me, and where is he? He said, we want to speak to him. They wouldn't bring a white man to where I was staying. And so they moved me from there, put me back to somewhere where near Long Acres or whatever place. Eventually people started working. But then, this was not accepted to us. And when I came back now, they gave me, to try and justify that, they said, before, they asked me, what do you want to be? I said, I wanted to be in administration, you know. And administration, it embarrassed them, because no person would be able, a black person could be in administration. So they said, oh, for us, you can't be in administration because administration relates to working with the people. So you have to go. We have created a ministry of cooperatives. And this ministry of cooperatives is teaching the people how to work together, to come together, and all the rest of it. And they can be able to learn. And from there we will be able to see whether you are able to talk to the people and to get on with the people and so on and so forth. Because the administration for them were being reserved for the white people who were coming back from the World War, the DOs, the DCs. We had the DCs, the DOs, and so on and so forth. And therefore you go and, first of all, learn bookkeeping, you know.
How did you manage to gain independence with the team that you're working with?
We just, when I came back to, I was holding a position, because when I went to my... Yes, everything was unique in those days, everything. If you didn't have a unique card, there's nothing you could do. Because to get on a bicycle, to get on a bus, to go anywhere, you had to show a unique, you know. So When I was there, I had already now learned bookkeeping, you know, accountancy, because in cooperatives, you chose your own chairman, your own secretary, and the people. This one is a farmer, this one is a farmer. You buy, this produces this one. You put our goods together, and we sell together, and then we share. So these were public meetings, but there used to be wars and difficulties, you know. I was involved in the Choma Declaration because at that time we were fighting UNIP and Uwachi. It was not even called UNIP, you know. And but when I came back from Makerere, as I said now, Kumbula had announced there will be 3 days of prayer. 3 days of prayer for independence. And that everybody who is employed, who is in working, should not work those 3 days, but we should join and pray that we gain the knowledge of how to become independent. But we cannot, you know, remain fighting and killing each other. We are killing each other here. For what reason? When we should be killing each other people for us to be free. You know. So I had by that time been promoted when I finished the course in Osaka here. Instead of being given a job, I was sent to Serenge as a cooperative officer and given the power to be able to look after Mukushi as well. I was looking after Serenge and Mukushi on a bicycle. They were nothing, you know. And that Makerere, by the way, that is where I met people like, you know, Elijah Mdenda, and you know, Nsomi, and some other people there. All those people are part of my life and the rest of it. So I came and told people that, yes, when the governor at that time had heard that people like Kumbula had said 3 days of prayer, nobody should work, the government responded and said anybody who doesn't come to work on those days will be dismissed. And he will lose everything. He will be dismissed, he will be pensions, and what's more, he will never be employed in government again. You know. So I had been come to, at that time, at Fort Ross Brothers, the cooperative officer was a European, you know, but he was going to a holiday back in England for 6 months. And that is where the people in the government found difficulties to find somebody to come here. And then they said, oh, but there is a Mapoma in Serenge who has been working among the people. Let him come, you know, and take over this place. So when I go to home, I send them to Fort Ross. These people didn't know that Fort Ross they are sending me back to is where I was born. So they were just sending me back home. When I was in fact in the colonial, was working in Serenge and Mukushi. and I was looking after cooperatives and forming people to let us work together so that we can be able to pulling our energies and whatnot to be able to achieve what we want. So when they sent me that, I was just at home. And the first person who welcomed me is my own father, my own mother. But I wasn't staying at Mansa. They gave me a government house, of course, where I was going to. And we said, I called a meeting. My friends, all of us, let us meet and discuss. Then Kumbula had said that we should not work. But I know that some of you people here, we servants say, there are only two areas. You are either a teacher or a nurse or a worker in the mines, because there were no industries or no organization controlled by Africa. And I said, the promotion, you find that there was a head messenger, a head clerk, and they were all there. I said, if you don't work, then you lose your jobs and you will not have money to feed or take your children to. So I said to them, let us leave the decision, to each one of us here. The leaders, have said we should not work, but we ourselves, we are civil servants. That's what we are called. We are civil servants, and those are politicians. And if we now, you lose your jobs, there's no other place for you. So let leave it. But I said to them, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to work. I'm going to pray for the freedom of our country. And when I was saying I'm going to pray for the freedom of my country, I was talking about I'm going to go to my father, and I'll tell my father, Father, I'm coming here to church tomorrow morning or this time. For 3 days we will be able to pray here, and then I will lose no job, I will lose everything and be like that. And if I'm in trouble, my father says, my son, you know our principles. You don't say you have no, there's a home here, you can come here. But go and work with the government, what they think like that. But I told them there are people that for me, I didn't go to work. And definitely, the following day when I went back, I found the DC said, everything is closed. So Mapoma, you didn't come to work for 3 days. You are dismissed. As far as the governor and the chief secretary have said, you lose everything and you leave your house, your wife, My firstborn was born under those conditions, Cyril Mapoma. When we were talking about this, they can only be celebrated completely in the knowledge that they are celebrating in 60s with unity and maintaining peace, law and order. Because without peace, there can be no development. And for us, peace and what we call, is exactly what we, joins in with what God himself has said, or my father was saying, love one another as you love yourselves. Do unto others as you do yourselves. There is no question of, but for me it was easy because we were the people who, I was part of the Choma Declaration. At the time when they came, the two of them, Kumbula and Kaunda, went behind when we had a general meeting in Choma. And they agreed, they said, my friend, I think we can't get on like this. You and me, our two parties are fighting each other. Let us just work together and know that one thing which we're going to work is independence. And they agreed, the two. Then Kaunda said, yes, we have agreed. You and me have agreed. But it shouldn't be with you and me again. let us go back now to the general meeting of the people, everybody and people, and address our followers, your followers and my followers in this conference where we are here already. And as we, as your leaders, have agreed that we shall not gain independence if we continue to fight each other. And we agree. And we are recommending that you, our followers, you should do the same. And you should not only be but feel that definitely agree that when you consider yourselves and you work together, that our decision as your leaders is correct, and start working together. And that is where this question of one Zambia, one nation emerged. And therefore, when you say how you are going to celebrate it, you are celebrating seeing in peace, and unity for the development of the country. And the development of the country is not the development of just the leaders. It's the development of everybody, the villages and all the rest of it, and so on and so forth. Just as I was saying, because we had to establish so that we could export our copper and through a country, the same country, certainly, and go to South Africa, through Durban, and then see. But the problem became the route, Tanzania was going to give us an alternative route for the export of our copper, because Southern Rhodesia had declared itself and was not allowing us to use that route to be able to do that. And if we are not going to sell our copper, there will be no revenue for us to do the development which we want to do for ourselves. But it is a Zambian project. And it doesn't matter, because it's in the best interest of our country and so on and so forth, and the development. And if you ask the Ministry of Finance, they will tell you that almost 80% of our revenue used to come from copper revenue. And that copper, to sell it, it has got to be sold, because there was no market in Zambia. We had no industries controlled to be able to do it. But we started sending our own people to be able to see.
That was Honorable James C. Mapoma. As you heard for yourself in my preamble, he was a former permanent secretary, he was former cabinet minister, former director general of ZIMCO, as well as former economic advisor to the first Republican president, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. And it's on that note, and on behalf of the entire Zanis production team, I'm Alice Banda saying goodbye and God bless you.